NASCAR is America's pastime when it comes to motorsports. There is so much rich history and a ton of what-if scenarios that I have been able to make a channel out of. One of the biggest what-if scenarios has always been, since 2004, what if NASCAR kept their consistent point system? For those who don't know, in 2004, NASCAR decided to make a drastic change to the way they crowned a champion. For the past 15 years, there have been different variations of this points format, whether it's known as the Chase for the Cup or simply known now as the playoffs. In this series, consistency is key. We will be taking an in-depth look on one of the biggest what-ifs in NASCAR history. We will go in full detail to see how the points would have been under the old format we all know and love. Before we get into it, let's take a look on how this series is going to work. We are going to begin in the first season NASCAR introduced the Chase, which was in 2004. Secondly, we will be taking a look at the points at each quarter of the season. We will only be looking at the top 10 because those are the most relevant. Also, really quick, I want to thank my good buddy Jerry, aka the Iceberg. You guys know him for his hypothetical what if NASCAR had playoffs in this particular season videos, and I really want to thank him because he's the one who greenlighted this project. He's already done a video on this particular format we're talking about right now, so if you want to find out who the champions are all the way from 2004 to 2016, the video is down in the description below. But this series is not particularly about who won the championship, because most of us diehard fans already know. It's mostly about the journey. How did we get to this point? So let's get into it. We're already a quarter into the 2004 season, and it's looking like the championship favorites are beginning to take shape. Without further ado, let's take a look at the first quarter's top 10. Sitting 10th, 237 points back, is former Cup Series champion Bobby Labonte. They may not be at that elite championship level like they were in 2000, but they're still hanging in there. His best 3 finishes thus far have been an 8th place at Las Vegas, a runner-up finish at Darlington, and another runner-up finish at Martinsville. Sitting 9th, 218 points back, is Rocket Man Ryan Newman. Despite his 8 wins a season ago, the knock on Newman was that he was inconsistent, and he's staying true to that form. In the first 9 races of 2004, he has finished outside the top 30 3 times. He's also stayed true to his nickname, as he has scored 3 poles in the first 9 races. His best finishes thus far consist of a 3rd place finish at Darlington and 2 top 5 finishes at Atlanta and Martinsville. The biggest surprise without a doubt on this list is Elliott Sadler sitting 8th in the standings, 194 points back. In both Robert Yates and Elliott Sadler's second season working together, they've been able to rewrite the ship. Teaming up with crew chief Todd Parrott, the team started out of the gates fiery as they were able to get up to 3rd in the standings after 3 races. A couple mediocre finishes at Atlanta and Bristol did them in, and they slipped back to 9th. But in the 7th race of 2004 at Texas, they were able to edge out Casey Kane, scoring the team's first victory. He has posted best finishes of 1st at Texas, 6th at Las Vegas, and 5th at Darlington. 7th in the standings, 178 points back, is Rushville Rocket Tony Stewart. He is on his way to another terrific season, but what has made the headlines thus far is his behavior on the track. So far, he has gotten into on-track incidents with the likes of, well, everybody. He's been a nuisance in the first part of the season, but his performance remains very sharp. His best finishes have been a runner-up in the Daytona 500, a 3rd place finish at Las Vegas, and a 7th at Atlanta. 6th in the standings, 174 points back, is Kevin Harvick. So far, he's put together one of those quiet good seasons. It's like he's doing good, but you don't really hear about him. He's only led double-digit laps in 2 of the first 9 races, so he's been consistently scoring top 10 after top 10. His best 3 finishes this season are a 4th at Daytona and 2 third-place finishes at both Bristol and Talladega. The guy passing him for the lead, your defending champion Matt Kenseth, sits 5th in the standings, 155 points back. The season started off as one of those dream seasons, as Kenseth was looking to defend his title. He would win 2 of the first 4 races of 2004 at both Rockingham and Las Vegas. After this win, he would hold the Nextel Cup Series points lead up until Bristol. He ran into some trouble at both Texas and Talladega to end the first quarter of the season. His 3 best finishes are his 2 wins and a 5th place finish at Bristol. 4th in the standings, 125 points back, sits Kurt Busch. He was pretty slow out the gate, but eventually caught fire around the 4th or 5th race of the season. His win at Bristol launched him to 2nd in the standings, but after a 6th place finish at Texas, he held on to the points lead for 1 week. Unfortunately, he finished out the first quarter of the season with an 11th place finish at Martinsville and a 36th place finish at Talladega. His best 3 finishes are his win at Bristol and his 2 6th place finishes at both Darlington and Texas. 3rd in the standings, 111 points back, is Jeff Gordon. His season has been up and down to say the least. A 41st place finish at Darlington did him in, and he was sitting outside of the top 10 in the points. He was able to gain some traction and score the pole at Martinsville, and had the best car all day before running over a piece of the track. This would damage his car and would mire him back to a 6th place finish. The following week, he would finally put the whole race together and score his first win of 2004 at Talladega. His best 3 finishes are a 1st at Talladega, a 3rd at Texas, and a 6th at Martinsville. 2nd in the standings, 94 points back, is Jimmy Johnson. The first 3 races saw Johnson 19th in the standings after a 41st place finish at Rockingham and a 16th at Las Vegas. But soon after, they were able to turn it around with a 4th place finish at Atlanta and scoring their first win of the season at Darlington. They finished the first quarter of the season strong with 2 back-to-back top 5s. His 3 best finishes thus far are a 1st place finish at Darlington and 2 4th place finishes at Talladega and Martinsville. And finally, your points leader after the first quarter of 2004 is none other than NASCAR's most popular driver, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Coming off of his dramatic victory in the 2004 Daytona 500, he scored a 5th place finish at Rockingham, holding the points lead for the first 2 races. At Las Vegas, however, he would leave with handling issues, demoting him to a 35th place finish. This led to questions of inconsistency, but he was able to bounce back really quick and show true championship form by winning the next week at Atlanta. He finished out the rest of the first quarter, scoring 3 top 5s and 5 top 10s. His 3 best finishes are his 2 wins at Daytona and Atlanta and a 2nd place finish at Talladega. And just like that, we have hit the halfway point in the 2004 season. Let's get a really quick rundown of how the top 10 in points look after the second quarter of 2004.
Ryan Newman to victory lane for the first time since last October.
Well, right now, Kurt Busch is definitely making a march toward the front. He started way back in the field tonight, and he has just been steadily picking them off ever since he's dropped the green flag from 23rd. He's been coming to the front very methodically, just making passes about every other lap.
But they were not cars that were good enough to win this race, just fall in sequence with everybody. So I totally agree with what they're doing here as we finally see Ricky Rudd in the 21, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8, Sterling Marlin in the 40. They come to pit road. I'm pretty confident with 49 laps to go, these group right here can make it to the end.
Oh, they can make, those other guys got to do 52 laps. I think that's certainly within reason. And I'm pretty sure they could make it.
With 600 miles, yeah, they want to lead, Jeff, but certainly pacing and taking it easy early is important. And we have a lead change.
Right now, Alex Sadler's gotten inside Jimmy Johnson right there coming up off turn 4. Takes the lead for the first time today. But Chris, right now, what these guys are trying to do, their cars are working. They want to put as many of the competitors down a lap if they can.
And look at our third place car, Bobby Labonte, the 18 car. You got to tip your hat to that crew. Michael Fatback McSwain, remember, he's the car that drug the oil filter into, that put oil all over the racetrack, stayed on the lead lap. He's up there in the 3rd position. And his teammate, Tony Stewart, that 20 car, we need to make note, he's back out there 6 laps down. Those guys changed that transmission in less than 10 minutes.
Track engine was tight, Alan. What they do is they pull a spring rubber from the race car. That limits the travel of the spring inside the car. That should make his car looser. He also wanted a bag of ice and water, said it's extremely hot inside the race car.
I think when he goes up on the outside of the 9, or wait a minute, let's see.
But you know what? What caused that? You got a guy that's not on the turn. Wow.
BP, there's a big fight in the 20 pit. Tommy Baldwin, a number of the Dodge guys came down to talk to the 20 crew members. NASCAR officials do have Tommy Baldwin. They are trying to break this up. Huge altercation down here in the 20 pit, guys.
Drivers who won a race a year ago who've not won this year. There are quite a few of them. In fact, 11 drivers. Winners last year, not this. Scratch one off the list. Tony Stewart with his first win of 2004.
But Jeff Gordon will come off turn 12 and score his 67th career Cup victory and his 8th road course checkered flag. Jimmy Johnson locked onto his teammate and mentor Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon's DuPont Pepsi Chevy is going to win the Pepsi 400. Free Pepsi Edge for America. He can take his time.
All right, you're the man. That thing was awesome tonight. Good call in the pit, Scott.
Coming off turn 4 for his 12th career win, Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins the Chevy American Revolution 400.
Listen to that engine. Holy cow.
Junior won a race?
I tell you right now.
Well, we can't try.
Back it down, Jimmy.
It's over if they get to the line.
I think Michael got second.
The field was frozen. And coming to the line, Jimmy Johnson wins his 2nd straight Coke 600. Man. Jimmy Johnson is going to score his 9th career victory in his 89th start. All of them on super speedways. Jimmy Johnson wins the Pocono 500.
And for the 9th time in his NASCAR Nextel Cup Series career, Jimmy Johnson goes to victory lane. The first time here at Pocono, adding another Hendrick victory.
The third quarter of the 2004 season has had plenty of storylines. From a rookie sensation, a career resurgence, an underdog turned contender, and a duo of young guns looking to dethrone a former champion. These storylines set the scene for the third quarter of 2004. Before we crown a champion, let's take a look at the top 10 thus far.
Mark Martin 4.1 seconds behind Casey Kane, the race leader, at 400 miles into the final 100 in this race, Matt.
4 times this year he has finished second, trying to knock down his first win. This young man, a rookie, driving like a veteran, telling crew chief Tommy Baldwin, the temperature's going down, we've got to continue to free this race car up. The track is slowly tightening up more and more, preparing for that final stop to try to make that final adjustment to get this car to victory lane, guys.
Jimmy McMurray, one of the fastest cars on the track. I believe you call him the fastest cat in the alley right now? Yeah. This car's going really well. Came on the radio about 160, said it's just a little bit loose. The air pressure adjustment you made last time made it almost perfect. If it goes green, and it might, they have to pit about lap 225, Bill. And Marty, some guys are going to have to come earlier than that. Guys talking about coming as early as 187. That's less than 10 laps from now.
Mark Martin beginning to show a little desire to get that lead back for McMurray. Looking low. And with a run. Okay, go ahead. Yep, definitely. Mark Martin, Michigan wins in August of 90, 93, 97, and June of 98. Had one point where he finished in the top 10, 20 of 21 Michigan races. He's out in front here today as we work up to halfway.
And here at Watkins Glen today, overcoming the physical cramps that have dogged him throughout the day, and he's going to ride his way to a dominating win. He'll lead half the race today and take his 2nd Watkins Glen checkered flag. Tony Stewart is the winner.
He wasn't, because he didn't climb in deep that time. Casey Kane drove in very hard, but Sadler's car's too strong.
They've gained maximum points tonight. Elliott Sadler wins at California. Elliott Sadler said this team has been so good to him, he was desperate to get them a win. He got them one in Texas in the spring. He got them a 2nd one tonight here outside of Los Angeles. It's been a struggle over the late spring and early summer for Kurt Busch. No more. He wins today at New Hampshire International Speedway. A couple of car lengths over Jeff Gordon, his 2nd win of the season. and is the 13th driver to win a NASCAR Nextel Cup Series race here at this racetrack in 19 tries.
I like this kind of burnout here. Put your nose up against the wall and just let her rip.
I think the fans there like it as well.
Matt Kenseth hasn't won since the third race of the season back in Las Vegas in March.
Way to go, boys. Back to back again. Thank you. Play-by-play from the cockpit. Jimmy Johnson comes to the checkered flag and sweeps the Pocono races in 2004. Johnson wins the Pennsylvania 500. Big payday for Johnson and company, $90,000 a bonus for the championship leader winning a race. Thank you.
Pre-race practice, driving a Corvette. Earnhardt loses control and crashes. You'll see the fuel spill out of the back. It is ignited by the hot components beneath the car. Earnhardt in the car for a moment, then did manage to get out and was helped away by the track safety team.
He won the Daytona 500 earlier this year. He'll add another of NASCAR's majors to his resume tonight as Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins the Sharpie 500 at Bristol.
Hell yeah!
Marty, may have been the first time someone's ever done it here at Bristol, but the third time Dale Earnhardt Jr. has ever done it in his career. That's a very interesting burnout, isn't it? Tony Eury Sr., that reminded me a lot of his dad. Did it remind you of him?
Yeah, he loves this place. This place in Richmond, he loves it. And, you know, this whole team loves this place. Where can you go race in front of this many people, you know, and they all... looks like the whole stands are red up there, so a lot of Budweiser stuff. Not again.
Elliott Sadler trying his teammate for second. That's all it's going to be, is for second spot. Caution flag is out, the race is over. Jeff Gordon wins the Brickyard 400 for a fourth time. A dominating performance today by Gordon.
Doing it, guys. Guys are awesome. Great job, driver. Straight in, just get out. Everybody, awesome job.
He stops on the yard of bricks, and he's climbing out of the car to salute the hometown fans. Listen to the crowd.
Wish they'd show some emotion, DP.
yeah, boy. Come on. Show us how happy you are. Jeff, how good is that?
The fourth quarter of this series marks the end of another season. We have officially crowned a champion for 2004, but before we get into that, let's take a look at the official top 10 for the 2004 season. Coming in 10th was the surprise driver all season in Elliott Sadler. He put together the best season of his Nextel Cup Series career up to this point. He would score 2 wins, 8 top 5s, 14 top 10s, and an average finish of 15.9. Coming in 9th is Ryan Newman. The Rocket Man lived up to his name in that category, as in the final 6 races he was able to score 4 poles in a row. He was also still able to live up to his inconsistency factor, as he also scored 9 DNFs during the season. His stats are this: 2 wins, 11 top 5s, 14 top 10s, and an average finish of 16.5. Finishing 8th is now the former Cup Series champion in Matt Kenseth. After a strong start to the 2004 season, he couldn't quite finish the job. What I mean by that is, in the final 10 races, he only scored 1 top 5 and 1 top 10. He was still able to garner enough points to secure a top 10 points finish, and his stats are this: 2 wins, 8 top 5s, 16 top 10s, and an average finish of 15.7. Tying for 6th place, we have both Jamie McMurray and Mark Martin. McMurray was able to avoid the sophomore slump as he scored 0 wins, 9 top 5s, 23 top 10s with an average finish of 13.2. Meanwhile, Mark Martin was able to have a career resurgence as he would score 1 win, 10 top 5s, 15 top 10s with an average finish of 13.8. Coming in a strong 5th for 2004 is Tony Stewart. After a first half of the season that was very up and down both on and off the track, he was able to finish strong. He would score 2 wins, 10 top 5s, 19 top 10s with an average finish of 12.9. In 4th place, we have none other than Kurt Busch. Kurt would finish out the season with 9 top 10s in the final 10 races, and to many is looking like a championship favorite heading into 2005. His 2004 stats are this: 3 wins, 10 top 5s, 21 top 10s, and an average finish of 12.5. Third in the standings would be none other than Dale Earnhardt Jr. Looking like a championship favorite throughout the season, Jr. was just not able to be consistent enough. He was within 1 point of the championship lead with 6 races to go, but 2 back-to-back 33rd place finishes at Martinsville and Atlanta did him in. He was able to salvage what was left of the season with a win at Phoenix, marking his 6th win of 2004 and a career high, but his season was over at this point. His 2004 stats are this: 6 wins, 16 top 5s, 21 top 10s, and an average finish of 12.1. Finishing runner-up in the standings for the 2nd season in a row is Jimmie Johnson. Johnson went on a tear in the final 9 races of the season, scoring 4 wins, including 3 in a row at Charlotte, Martinsville, and Atlanta. The Atlanta victory being the most sentimental, as this came after the Hendrick plane crash tragedy. In the middle of a championship battle, Johnson would put the team on his back and score his final victory at Darlington. His goal was to bring Hendrick Motorsports what would be a very sentimental championship, but he was just short in accomplishing that. His 2004 stats are this: 8 wins, 20 top 5s, 23 top 10s, and an average finish of 12.1. Although he couldn't pull off the sentimental championship, Johnson's teammate slash mentor would do just that. That's right, Jeff Gordon would score his 5th career Cup Series championship in 2004. The championship lead was swapped throughout the season amongst Jeff Gordon, Jimmie Johnson, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. With Jr. having late season struggles and Jimmie coming on way too late in the season, Gordon was able to etch just ahead of Jimmie Johnson to score his 5th career Cup Series championship, making the drive for 5 a complete success. His 2004 championship stats are this: 5 wins, 16 top 5s, 25 top 10s, with an average finish of 11.4. Congratulations to our 2004 hypothetical champion, Jeff Gordon. Right now, many Jeff Gordon fans across the country are watching this video and thinking, what could have been? And once again, that'll do it for another video. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Black Flags Matter. Catch you next time.